Hey everybody, and welcome back to my music theory survival guide. People have been asking me recently, Nick, how do you keep track of how many sharps and flats are in every key? And here's one simple trick I have to help you remember. The first step you're going to want to take in making a circle of fifths is, of course, starting with a circle. I went ahead and already did that, but go ahead and catch up to me. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go around the circle and we're going to divide it like a clock. I always have to remind myself how to evenly space out 12 marks. So I start with 4 on your quadrants, and then you're going to divide each section into 2. All right, and let's go ahead and label this. So I'm going to call this the circle of fifths. Now the whole idea of the circle of fifths is to keep track of how many sharps or flats are in every key. So let's go ahead and start with my favorite for theory being C, because in the key of C there are 0 sharps and there are 0 flats. Now, if you've gone ahead and learned some of your major scales already, maybe you know G. But actually, let's take a walk to the piano real quick. When we play a C scale, we know that there will be no sharps, nor any flats. But the circle of fifths revolves on the interval of a fifth, if you remember that from our video on chords a few weeks ago. So let's find a fifth above C. So C, D, E, F, G. Now, if I'm going to play a G scale, right, something sounds a bit funny, and we know we need an F sharp. If you're at all confused about why we need that F sharp in the G major scale, please revisit my video on major scales from a few weeks back. Okay, so back to the drawing paper. Anyway, we know that the next scale, because 5 notes up from C, C, D, E, F, G, is in fact the note G. And in the key of G, right? Remember, the circle of fifths is to keep track of key signatures. In the key of G, there is 1 sharp. And it might be useful, if this is your first time making a circle of fifths, it might be useful to say, oh, it's F sharp, right? Now we're going to go 5 notes up from G. So G, A, B, C, D. We're going to get to D. And you may have guessed it, that we're going to have 2 sharps in the key of D. Now, this is an additive process, and what I mean is that all the sharps that we've passed so far are going to remain as we make our way around the circle. So in D, we're going to have F sharp, and then the new sharp we're going to have is C sharp. A quick trick to remember what the new sharp will be is that the letter name that the sharp belongs to will always be 1 before the letter of the scale. So in G, we knew we needed 1 sharp. We go back 1 letter from G, you find F, and then you know that the sharp you're going to need is F sharp. Then we know the F sharp is going to carry over to D, and our new sharp is going to be 1 letter back. So it's going to be C sharp. So I'm going to keep going now. 5 notes up from D is A, and A will be 3 sharps. And in A, we're going to keep F sharp. We're going to keep C sharp. 1 note back from A is G. We're going to add G sharp. 5 notes up from A, E, 4 sharps, right? F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. One letter back from E gives us D sharp. Up 5 more notes, we're at B, right? E, F, G, A, B. We're gonna have 5 sharps. And here we're gonna have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and also A sharp. And then we're going to go 5 more letters. So B, C, D, E, F. Now, it's not going to just be F, because B to F would be a diminished fifth, not a perfect fifth, whereas C to G is a perfect fifth, G to D is a perfect fifth, so on and so forth. Maybe it's worth writing down that as we go around, it's a perfect fifth, right? B to F, though, would be a diminished fifth, and that's no good. What I always tell my students is we've already passed F sharp, so we have to account for F sharp. So down here at the bottom, it's going to be F sharp. I'm going to write it a little bit off to the side here, and you'll see why in a moment. F sharp would be 6 sharps, and of course F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. I'm going to go underneath now. We'll have, I'll do it all up top. A sharp and E sharp. There we go. Okay, so here's our sharp side of the circle, right? Everything over here has to deal with sharps. So as you may have guessed it, the other side of our circle is going to be relating to the flats. Now the flats are a little bit different. So over here we were at F sharp. If I go another tick over, I end up at C sharp, and I would have 7 sharps. And frankly, that's just a lot of sharps. So at some point we need to flip the system around. Well, we probably know that the enharmonic, another way to say C sharp would be to say D flat. But if we have a flat, shouldn't we have flats? So what I do with my students at this point is I work the other way around the circle. We're gonna go backwards. And so working counterclockwise, you can think of it in one of two ways, right? C going up to G, which way's up? That way's up. C going up to G is 5, right? So if we're gonna go backwards, we need to go down 5, or down 5. So we're gonna have to count backwards now. So we had C, B, A, G, and we end up on F to get there. So we know F is going to be here. If you're hesitant to count down, I rarely count down when I'm doing this. I usually count going up. And so a way to make it simple is that this is either, if you're going up, C to G going up is up a perfect fifth. I should draw an arrow up. Or down a perfect fourth. Similarly, going backwards would yield up a perfect fourth or down a perfect fifth, right? So C, D, E, F, that's going up, gives you a perfect fourth, but C, B, A, G, F going down gives you 5. As long as you can keep track of that, you're gonna be fine. All right, so over here, you may have guessed it, we're gonna have 1 flat on F, and I'll just give it to you. I'll tell you that the 1 flat for F is B flat. Another way to think about it is it's always going to be the 4th note of the scale, right? So F, G, A, B, B gets the flat. Now, that was F, G, A, B, B flat. You may have noticed that that's also 4 going up, and that's the direction we need to go, right? Up 4, going counterclockwise. So the new flat for each key as we work counterclockwise is also going to wind up being the next key we pass along the way. So B flat will have 2 flats, right? Of course, B flat. And then if you count up 4 notes, B flat, C, D, E becomes E flat. And so E flat's our new key now. E flat's going to have 3 flats, and they will be B flat, E flat, of course. 4 notes up from E is A, so A flat. A flat becomes the new key with 4 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. And we have it from earlier, we already have D flat. So now it's going to be, we had 4 flats here, so it'll be 5 flats. Oh yeah. Let me just put a little slash there. Sorry about that little corner. So we have D flat gives us 5 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and then G flat. What's neat is that here's where the circle folds over on itself. F sharp is equivalent to G flat, and they both have 6, right? 6 sharps or flats. F sharp has 6 sharps, G flat has 6 flats. Sorry, this has gotten a little bit messy down here. Oh, that's not coming out. All right, in G flat we have 6 flats. They would be, of course, B, E, A, D, G flat, and the new one would be 4 notes up being C flat. I don't think there's a really great way for me to do this, so I'll just do this, dot, dot, dot. A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, because that all fits. All right, sorry, it got a little bit messy down at the bottom, but I think everyone's with me so far. All right, so now we have a circle, and if you go around, you end up with a complete cycle of fifths, and they're all perfect fifths. Or you can go the other way, and if you're ascending, you know, getting higher, it'll be fourths. Or you could have downward fifths or upwards fourths. You know, fifths and fourths are the same thing, just flipped over. So you might even hear this referred to as the circle of fourths. Okay, so this is great for remembering major keys, but what about minor keys? Well, remember from our video last week, remember how we found out that C major was related to A minor? Well, we could go through and, you know, I think we did it a couple different ways, but one of the ways we did it was we counted C, D, E, F, G, A. We got to the 6th note of a major scale to find a minor scale. So if we do that off of all of these, we could complete a circle on the inside. So let's try G and see what we find out. So in G, we'd have G, A, B, C, D. E would be our 6th note of a G major scale, meaning E minor is related to G major. But look a little bit more closely. A to E, A, B, C, D, E, is still a 5th. So I know that this inside circle is going to follow the same pattern as the outside circle. So I'm going to go ahead and write F sharp. I'm going to go ahead and write all my minor keys on the inside. And notice, so to be consistent with our videos going forward, I typically will use capital letters for major, lowercase for minor. It's something that has been ingrained in me as from the start of learning music theory, and honestly really does help just keep my thoughts more organized. Once we get to 6, we'd have D sharp minor or E flat minor, B flat minor, F minor, C minor, G minor, and D minor. So now here we have it, our completed circle of fifths.